Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to One Hub Racing Season 24, round number 3. And last week, we were at the Shanghai International Circuit in China. This week, we go to a different continent. We head to the Miami International Autodrome for the Miami Grand Prix, a temporary circuit that was built around the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. And the first Formula One race was hosted back in 2022. A great race it is too. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me just in time, we didn't time this, I promise, but joining me in the commentary box, he's just got back from work, it is Max. Max, how you doing?
I'm very good, Jess. Happy to be here, and yeah, perfect timing. I just joined the call, and you were running through the introduction, so yeah, I'm excited here this evening for Miami, and yeah. Also, how are you on this Sunday evening?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Got a good result in Miami myself because I didn't think I was going to get a good result. I just sent you an invite as well, so hopefully you got that one. But anyway, last week was a very interesting race. I will talk you through the standings whilst they go through the middle of qualifying. Apologies about my screen because it is 4K, so you can't really see much. It was Aiden who is still leading the championship, but it was Samba who got the sprint race win and the feature race win by starting at the back of the grid. He is racing tonight. So it'll be great to see what he can do there. So we've got Aiden on 43 points. He is leading. Ben Mills got his first podium of the season in second on 36 points. And he's 1 point clear of Bryn Evans in third spot. Then we've got Samba in fourth on 32. Owen White doing pretty decent in fifth place, but his poor showing in round 2 did not help him there. In sixth was Link. So we got Colin, Larkin, JM, J. Cole in 10th. Then we got Casper, Chalkers, Lakitu, Nath Clark, Extreme, Nick, Matter, Senna, O'Sheen. And we got 2 new faces to this tier as well. I will go through that in just a moment. And then we got the constructors standings, if I can find them, if SimGrid would like to load. Yeah, there we go. AlphaTauri currently leading the way on 78 points, about a 30-point swing to Ferrari in P2. Then we got Williams in third on 38, Alpine in fourth on 30, McLaren in fifth on 27, joint with Haas on 27, Alfa Romeo 7th on 25, Mercedes in 8th on 20, Aston Martin in 9th on 12, and Red Bull in last with only 5 points to their name. And Matt, we've got 2 new drivers, one of which is a returning face, Dane Starr, who's also known as Lapland. He's making a reappearance in the top tier. And also Jensen Button. No, he's not Jensen Button. He is called Jensen. He is racing in the tier for the very first time. He signed up, I think, a few days ago. He was P2 tier pace, but he's kind of borderline, so it's great to see what he could do around Miami. So interesting championship we got here, Max, and I think Miami should be an interesting race because it's going to be dry all the way through.
Yeah, it certainly should. This track invites so much overtaking, and it's a circuit where you're not out of it until that final lap, so you've just got to keep with it. And I mean, for these new faces, it'll be interesting to see what they can do in this tier, and overall what really they can show to the drivers that have already had those 2 races of preparation. So it'll be fun to watch that, and just also how this will all play out. That's also going to be saying crucial for these drivers as well. So it's just going to be about, I know that it's only 2 races in, but it's just going to be about this evening, try to score as many points as possible and go from there.
And as we found out in the P3 tier earlier, attrition is, well, quite low. A lot of people did not finish. I think we ended up with 11 finishes at the end out of 18 drivers. So as long as you finish this race, you're going to end up doing well. We only got 16 drivers tonight, because a few people unfortunately have withdrawn from the session. It is Ben Mills that is on top at the moment with a 126.4, which is impressive right off the bat, actually. Bryn in second with a 127 flat. Then we got Links in third with a 127.103. I'm trying to see if anyone's going to start a lap, actually. We do have one person who is taking their engine penalty. And for those of you that are unaware what that is, engine wear is basically they have a set amount of laps life per engine, and technically you could have taken it in China last week and get to the end, as long as you don't DNF in the race as you just left the session, which is not ideal. So we'll try and get you another invite. But one person has taken the engine penalty today. That is Nick. And what Nick has done was he had to serve a quali ban, which means he does an installation lap, comes out of the pit in whatever tyre that he wants to, and then he retires, and then he starts at the back of the grid. So interesting call, Max, that he's gone and done his engine penalty early. To be honest, I was going to do it early, but I couldn't risk it with the amount of traffic. But he said to me he wasn't that quick compared to the other drivers, so why not give a chance and see what overtakes he can do?
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, getting out all the way this early into the season also just sort of gives him that state of mind that from now on, after this Grand Prix, he don't have to worry about it. It's something off the back of
Unless
his
he
mind that
DNFs.
just now focus. Unless he DNFs, obviously. But mainly he can just focus on the driving itself. So it's interesting to see so early on in the season. He's the only driver to do so far. I would say give it another 2 or 3 races, then we'll see more and more drivers start taking theirs. But overall, for Nick, it's just going to be a matter of how well he can manage the traffic in this Grand Prix. Of course, as I say, it invites overtaking this circuit, so it's not going to be too difficult for him, but it's still going to be somewhat of a challenge. So scoring points is probably going to be what he wants today. Maybe not big points, but just getting into the points at least could be crucial for him. And yeah, overall, it should be a very decent race there for him. And the reason I left was that my game actually crashed. I was having some screen freezes and then my game decided to kill itself.
Oh, do you need another invite, yes or no?
Yes, please.
I'm just about to go on board with Jensen on a lap, so I'll be as quick as I can. The thing is, I was able to see you this week. I wasn't able to see you last week on EA, which is very weird. EA's like that sometimes. Anyway, let's go on board with Jensen as he starts his lap around the Miami International Autodrome. He's past turn 2 and 3. A flat-out right-hand kink coming up, which is barely a corner. Quite a bit of negative camber going through here. Heavy braking zone, you just passed it, and you're now going to be heading towards turn 7 and 8. Hardly a corner between these two. A 5 right-hander that's taken about 200 kilometers an hour. Turn 9 coming up now, and now you're going to be heading towards the DRS zone, where you're going to be using full power as you head towards turn 10, which is a medium, which is a left-hander coming up around 80 kilometers an hour. No, not turn 10 yet. You're past turn 9, now you're heading towards turn 10. This is a right-hander coming up now, and now you're going to be heading towards the very tricky little crest of 11, 12, 13, and 14, and heading towards the exit of turn 15. Now, if you get that right, then you're really, really going to control this very, very nicely. And I've got the corners mixed up. But Jensen, it is his first race in this division, so he's probably hardly had any practice because he found out today. He's heading towards the final corner of 3 corners of 17. Go on the power. He's a bit squirmy there on exit in towards turn 18. Going to the pit straight on turns 19. Up to the line he goes, and it is a 1:28.0. I know he can go quicker than that, but pretty decent for him so far. George is on a lap right now, and nicely done from the two Ferrari boys, Max. You can get a toe on this back straight. I was trying it with someone else in a higher tier in practice, and I'm almost certain that George will do exactly the same to Samba on his lap, but I think that's going to give George a lot of time towards that past that back straight, but he's heading towards the final corner. What can he do? P2, but Ben is still faster at the moment with a 1:26.4, but expect George to slow down to help Samba give the toe whenever he needs it. No, he's not. Okay, scrap that.
Well, I mean, he could maybe do it on the next set of runs, depending if Samba comes out earlier than George. A bit of a switcheroo situation, but it's been a really good lap there from Ben Mills to be still on provisional pole, and by quite some margin, 5/10 is the gap between Ben Mills and George and the rest of the field itself. So a really stonking lap there from Ben Mills. Samba, of course, is starting his lap. He's now heading down into the heavy braking zone of turn, I think this is actually
11.
Turn 10, I think. 11, sorry. Turn 11, then into the long right hand, which then leads you into the very clumsy chicane. Personally, this chicane just ruins the whole circuit for me. And then you head into the penultimate sort of really difficult corner of the circuit. 1 minute 1.5, apparently purple in that middle sector there for Nathan Samba. DRS Open down this really long final straight on the circuit. It's so long, it feels like it takes an eternity to get to. And then into the final braking zone, down to second gear for the Ferrari. Then back on the power. What will Nathan Samba be able to do? Can he put himself in front of Ben Mills? DRS Open, he goes second. Still 3/10 off Ben Mills. Just shows how quick that Williams lap really was.
And don't forget, Ben is one of our new drivers to the league. He joined at the start of the season, and he's been very consistent all throughout and avoided all of the carnage that was going on. And he said to me in the pre-race interviews, driving Miami isn't great, but he hopes the race could be okay. Haven't driven much of it this game, so it's a few unknowns as Aiden goes top, beating Ben by just a few hundredths of a second, which is very, very impressive. And Ben thinks he's going to probably overtake at the end of the DRS straights, and he's not a fan of the slow sections either. So, Ben agrees with us, not going to lie, in terms of that front. I'm trying to find Jensen's pre-race interviews to give him a bit of a screen time. He's not the biggest fan of Miami either, but if he can manage a good result here, he'll like it even more. And Jensen is very optimistic heading to his debut race. It'll be a tough one, but he's up for the challenge of achieving points. Well, if it's like what we saw in P3, if you finish, you get points, and that'll be good for Jensen in that respect as well. And Colin and Nick were called into the rivalries earlier on this week in the media interviews. And as the media said, we've taken a trip to the Sweat Lodge, which I kind of like. And his question is, working together as teammates is something you guys do really well. However, when the chips are down, the position is there to be won. Are you guys free to race each other, or does the driver in front take priority? Colin says, we do work really well together. We ain't going to hold up each other up in the race if one guy's a fair bit quicker. But if we're fighting for the win, then we'll both go for it. And Nick says, your question is based on the fact I'll be fighting for a decent position. We'll always work well together, communicate strategy plans on the fly. If by some miracle we were fighting for a podium, we want the best result for the team. If we were fighting for the championship, we race hard and fair. Probably give a little bit more space than a different car would get. That's what I would do if I was in that situation. So, to be honest, some fair answers from both the two Mercedes drivers. As Colin has been looking very decent in practice, he's heading towards the back straight now.
Yeah, that's something that you do sort of pay more attention to if say they are in the championship battle as teammates. You do tend to give each other a bit more room. Aiden has retired already in this session, doesn't think he can go out and set a quicker lap time. But Colin heading in to this middle part of the lap in his Mercedes. Can he promote himself any higher than 9th place in this session so far, as we now head through the chicane into a very understeery penultimate tricky corner of the circuit. And he's only up by about half a tenth. This won't actually promote him anywhere at the moment, Colin. So maybe, unless he made a mistake heading in to the final braking zone, not too much time will be found, as he's going to be on the brakes just before the 100-meter board, get the car turned in second gear, then you go back on the power. So easy to drop the rear out of there. But for Colin, he's done that quite nicely. What's it going to be with the DRS open to the line? It's good enough for P7, and in the end found just under 2.5 tenths. And a very decent lap time there from Colin. But for Ben Mills, he's now starting his lap up by 9 thousandths in that first sector, Jess.
9 thousandths is very small. It is very minuscule between himself and Aiden. He's got to have a good middle sector. That is where you can really make or break your lap. And even though Ben said in his pre-race interviews that he wasn't confident, well, sometimes if you have low expectations for yourself, if you have a good result, this will put you in a good hindsight for the rest of the season. Heading towards the back straight now. He may get out the driver in front as well, which could help him ever so slightly. And I think, has he backed off? No, he hasn't backed off. I think he's okay at the moment. But I think he's probably going to abort maybe this lap or go on the final run, but he's heading towards penultimate corner now. It looked like he was going a bit slow there, but he wasn't. It was just my eyes deceiving me. As Ben goes up to the line, is he going to go enough for pole? The answer is yes, it is. With a 126.3, that final sector was very crucial for Ben Mills. That was absolutely fantastic. Jaco is on his lap right now as well. We'll see what he could do. He was called up in the driver's press conference, and he was asked how he felt he'd done so far this season and if he was happy with his P1 placement. And he felt that Australia could have gone better for him. China, he think he did the best that he could. And once Miami's out of the way, it thinks where he sees will probably begin. There's yellow flags everywhere. And that's Dane that's out of the session. So that is session over. But as I was saying about J. Cole, for any targets he sees, he wasn't even going to sign up originally because he doesn't play the game often anymore. So that's why he's coming into the season for a bit of fun. And I like that. When you don't like the game but just want to have a bit of fun, then usually sometimes gets the best results out of it. As J. Cole heads towards the Vietnam corner, as I like to call it, and one of the most horrific corners on the calendar, which I think should get in the bin.
Yeah, it certainly is. This middle part of the lap is just not really the greatest of sort of complexes of circuit at that point. The rest of the circuit, not too bad, but that middle part, there's a nice toe actually here for J. Cole off Larkin, and this actually worked out really well. He's already up by just under 2.5 temps in that middle part of the lap, so that toe could have easily found him 2 or 3 temps. This could be good enough to maybe even promote himself into the top 5. What's going to be for J. Cole? It's just not into that top 5. He found 4 temps in the end for that lap. And J. Cole up into 6th place. And we've got more times going to be coming in at the end of the session, thick and fast. Lynx was on his lap. He's invalidated. It's probably through the chicane. That's the main place where you can invalidate your lap times. Nathan Samba is going to be on his lap. He's now going to be heading down this really long final straight of the circuit. Ben Mills pulls into the pit lane. What would it be for Nathan Samba, though? When he crosses the line, he needs a good final part to this lap, does the Ferrari, to then try snatch pole position away from Ben Mills, who looks like he's deserved it for this whole session. What's it going to be for the Ferrari? A bit of a scruffy exit out of the final traction zone. What's it going to be as he crosses the line? It's good enough for pole, but only just good enough for pole there for Nathan Samba. 16 milliseconds, if I can do my maths correctly there, separating them. Bryn to the line goes 4th. He beats George, who has invalidated his time. Owen Wyatt to the line. He goes to 9th. Matter down to 10th place. You've then got Lakitu. What can he do? And he's Aston Martin. Can he promote himself up into that top 10? Yes, he can. Jensen Butlin is down in 12th. Casper's invalidated. It's all down to Larkin. What can he do? I think he got a slipstream off J. Cole. DRS open for the Alpine. He goes up into 13th place. But it's Nathan Samba who takes pole position after his win last time out in China, putting himself in a very nice place, you would think, Jess, to maybe go back-to-back.
Yeah, because he's got 2 wins already, looking to do what Timo did last season, of course. And this is really great to see from Samba. That pole lap was honestly absolutely exceptional. So it was really great to see from him, as my ears are ringing. That was weird. But it was very close between himself and Ben Mills. So I think between those two, it's going to be, I think, closer than last week. Nathan Samba last week pretty much absolutely dominated that race. But with qualifying being so much closer this time, I think it's going to be even closer than that. Look at that top 3. It's just probably the closest I've ever seen it so far, which is absolutely amazing. So let's go through your results. As Nathan Samba fastest, Ben Mills 2nd, Aiden in 3rd. There's about a few temps gap between himself and his teammate ERT Bryn. We've got ERT George in 5th, J. Cole in 6th, Lynx in 7th, Colin in 8th, Owen Wyatt in 9th, and Lakitu rounds up your top 10. And we got Matta Jensen Butlin in 12th, a good qualifying result for him. Larkin in 13th, and we've got Lapland, who retired. Casper didn't get a good lap in, unfortunately. And then Nick, obviously, who was serving his engine penalty. So let's go through our sponsors before we go into the main race, of course, which it is going to be dry. Next Level Racing sponsors the league by providing some prizes each season. We have been in contact with Next Level Racing the last few days, so watch this space and find out there. Pure Sim Gear sponsors the league by providing 1 free item for free from their store to the person who has the most combined fast lap and poles. Aztec Sim Sports sponsors the league by providing some merch to the winner of One Hub Racing driver rankings. Vespertine, partner with Vespertine, who support our championship apparel, and it would help if I get the images there, wouldn't it? And also ERT are major partners in this league. Thank you to them. Partner the ERT Go Gets Tough Award and league trophies. Winner of Going Gets Tough Award gets some ERT merch. And finally, to our partners at SimGrid, who run our seasons through their community and platform. So thank you very much to our sponsors. Without you, the league wouldn't be as it is. And as I was saying, with the adaptive weather, it's going to be dry for the race. Max, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Oh, this is going to be a very tricky one to decide, but I'm going to go for... I'm going to have to go for the pole man, Nathan Samba. I think he can convert this one. He showed good race pace both in Australia before he got taken out and then also in China, and I reckon he's got the same here today. I know it's going to be a bit more of a tricky task knowing the nature of this circuit compared to the others. I mean, we've now been to 3 tracks where overtaking is quite easy, so to be as dominant around some of these circuits, which Nathan Samba was being at Australia and was at China, I reckon he can do it here this evening. So I'm going to go for Nathan Samba to win this one.
I think I'm going to have to agree on this one. He's been the most consistent so far this season, and despite him being the DNF in Australia, I think he's got this in the bag. But I think Ben Mills can definitely put out a challenge, and with the Drivers' Championship, they can win a £50 voucher of their choice for PS or Amazon and a nice trophy. And they also get trophies if you finish second or third. So Ben might want to be aiming for that. But if I was him, I want to be aiming for the driver's title. And he's got a free entry to next season to think about as well. So that is what you could win potentially if you do that. And first of all, my congrats to Hooky, who also won in Miami in the Ferrari as well. So I wonder if Samba is going to replicate what we saw Hooky do in the P3 tier earlier on. Both in ERT, of course.
Yeah, that'll be something interesting to see as well. Maybe get a repeat from the P3 tier, so that'll be something to look out for. And also strategy as well, speaking of stuff to look out for. Of course, probably going to be soft, medium, soft, soft, medium, soft, medium could even be on the cards here. So it's going to be all about this first stint and how they manage their tyres in this, what tyres they do elect to go on. Then they'll dictate their strategy around that. If the softs don't really have the greatest pace that we saw in China, some drivers might try to avoid that, but we are getting underway here, Jess, so take us away.
Here we go, the 5 red lights are on your screen right now, and we are underway here in Miami for the P1 tier. Samba gets a very good start. Ben almost tried to cut him off as well, but turn 1's going to be very, very tricky. It's not the best of turn 1s on this calendar, but the top 3 remain as they are. But let's look at the midfielders. Owen White goes wide a little bit. Colin tries to capitalise on the inside through turns 3 and 4, but Owen White just about gets position back. Good control from him so far, heading towards turn 4 and 5. Lapland tried to get up the inside of Larkin. Massa had a bit of a squirm on exit as well, which wasn't ideal. They all had to make their way towards turn 7 now, but so far, everyone has made their way very, very cleanly, and it is very great to see, but we could see some side-by-side battles happening from a lot of people, especially links on J. Cole up the inside, up into P6, but I think J. Cole could try and fight this one on the exit. Maybe he's not going to do so. So pretty much most of them stayed as they are, and generally very clean as well. And Max, top 6, have gone for the softs. So has Lapland and Jensen. Everyone else opted for the mediums.
Yeah, so it seems that everyone else is going to go for maybe that longer first stint, maybe be able to push that tyres a bit more, but then also gain that knowledge of what the soft tyre, how long those soft tyres do last compared to that medium compound. So here comes Lapland on Lakitu, heading down this long straight. He's managed to get past with the battery. Lakitu now under a bit of pressure from Larkin as well. We could see 3 wide into the final braking zone. We do. The Red Bull on the inside, Alpine in the middle. He's the meat in that sandwich there, and he's managed to somehow get out of that one unscathed.
Oh!
Lakitu spins. Lakitu round. Casper just about manages to avoid. He was going the quickest of the lot and was so unsighted there. But Larkin into the back of Lapland, then into turn 1. Don't know if he picked up any damage off that one. But for Lakitu, it's so unfortunate there. He had a decent start, dropped down 2 places due to that 3 wide moment, and then dropped it out of, which I already said, a tricky traction zone. And for Lakitu, unless there's a safety car really, that could be a race over for him at the end of lap 1 as Larkin gets overtaken by Mata there into the long left-hander.
Yes, and Nick's trying to make his way up through the field as well because he has an engine penalty as he's passed Jensen up into third team spot. He's going to try and do the same on Larkin very, very soon too. But Jensen is trying to give Nick a run for his money up the inside. The new driver tries to do his best to get ahead of him, but he's on the soft tyres, so he's doing an excellent job. Bearing in mind, no soft tyres don't last long, so if there's no safety car by the end of lap 3 or 4, then the ones on the softs are probably going to be screwed at this point because the mediums are the best starting tyres to be on right now. If you think there's going to be a safety car, you would go on to the softs at the start of the race, but if you think there's going to be no safety car, starting on the mediums would be the best option. DRS will be activated this lap, so that's a chance for maybe Ben Mills to try and close in a bit more on Nathan Samba. They're pretty much even on pace, but Nathan Samba just a little bit slightly faster compared to him as well. The two AlphaTauris working together as well. We were talking about them last week with their rivalries as well, so good to see that they're carrying their good form. Brinny's actually recovering from a wrist injury from karting yesterday, so hopefully he gets better soon, of course. But Nathan Samba is just going to try and hold on. Those softs are not going to last forever as he heads towards turn 7 and 8 now, and then through the camber corner of turn 9. So Ben is going to try and use his DRS to full effect, but I think he may try and save a little bit of energy just because otherwise he's going to use too much of his tyre life. He's going to have a go now, goes Ben. And he's going to try and back off. He's going to back off. He's going to wait until the back straight. But you can see the power of the DRS. You just close up so much. So let's hope Ben hasn't used up that much ERS on this lap because he could struggle here. Now towards the crest he goes. And he's going to try and do all he can to try and get past Nathan Samba. Aiden as well. This DRS train is going on for miles, as you can see on the minimap, which goes to show how great this tier can be. I don't think Ben has the pace to close in on Samba. I don't think he's using much ERS as well, so he's just going to wait a little bit, save his tyre life, and just hope. Oh, there's a bit of a lock-up for Nathan Samba. He could have taken advantage there, as Ben has had a little bit of a slide. Ben has had a bit of a slide in towards penultimate corner, and Ada could have taken advantage of that, but he didn't.
Yeah, that was really risky there for Ben to have that slide. Unfortunately, lost him a bit of time to Nathan, but he's managed to gain that back up with the DRS. But that's one thing that happens around this circuit. Most drivers wait for that run down into the final braking zone. We have a battle here between Mata and Lapland. These 4 drivers of Lapland, Larkin, Jensen and Mata all scrapping over 10th place. And, of course, all the way down to Larkin, the final points-paying position down in 12th. So Jensen is just looking to try maybe score at least one in this. It's something next to his name in the championship standings. But Ben Mills is getting closer once again. That DRS is so powerful down this straight, but you don't really want to make the move because it's so easy to follow through this next part of the circuit that you'll just then get eaten alive down the next DRS zone. So it's now just a game of sit behind the car in front, let them use their tyres. Oh, there's contact! I was looking at the cars behind. Lapland has gone straight on. I think he went into the side of Mata there, and Mata sent into a spin. Lapland has got some wing damage. That's unfortunate there for the Red Bull driver, the returning driver, of course, here in the P1 tier. And at the moment, Aiden getting closer to Ben, Ben getting closer to Nathan. Nothing happening for them there, but unfortunate for Mata, just getting collected in an incident that just wasn't really his fault. He just got absolutely straight-lined into the heavy braking zone of turn 11.
We're going to keep an eye on the medium runners now because at this point, this is when the cut-over point happens, and we're going to keep an eye on J. Cole as he closes in on links in towards turn number 1 soon. But I think the top 6 are in a good position because they're all on the soft tyres. So if you're in the top 3, you're fine, but anything below that, you're going to struggle against the drivers behind. So the drivers behind from J. Cole downwards, I think if I was them, I would be, a little bit patient at this point just to try and get past, knowing that the softs will die out eventually at this stage. And Aiden's got a beautiful run on Ben Mills down this back straight, and I think he could get past sooner or later. I was a bit surprised as to why Ben did not go for it, because if he couldn't get past on the later straight, and he's probably going to listen to what I just said, and he's going to get past Nathan Samba up into the back straight, and he is in the lead of the Miami Grand Prix, and Aiden couldn't take advantage of that. Links trying to close in on George, but couldn't quite do so. But Owen White does get past Jaco on that last corner, up into 7th place. Jensen and Larkin having a ding-dong battle through this twisty right-hander, as Jensen almost had a bit of a slide there once again, heading towards that crest as he tries to defend for his life. His softs are definitely toast-wise now compared to Larkin's more durable medium compounded tyres, as we've got Nathan Samba, who's got the lead from Ben Mills on the back straight. Aiden was almost gonna... Oh, there was a bit of contact between Aiden and Ben Mills on the penultimate corner. That was very tight between the two of them, but that is allowing Nathan Samba just to pull away.
Yeah, that really was, I would say, a bit of a mistake there by Ben Mills getting the move done into turn 11, because it just really put him on that back foot heading down that long back straight. Of course, he's not really shown the best pace down there, so it might have been an illusion for him. So for Ben Mills, it's now just all going to be about overall getting back into that rhythm. Lapland has retired from the race, our first retirement of this Grand Prix, but Ben just needs to get back in that rhythm. He's now got Aiden in front of him, so he's now got 2 cars emitting dirty air to his Williams car. Going to be using up his tyres slightly. He might go for a move now on the AlphaTauri in front, because of course he still will have that DRS down that long straight. Aiden has to back off from Nathan Samba in front of him, but look at the Bryn to the inside goes the other AlphaTauri. Can he get two in one corner? Leonard going to be on the inside once again as they head up to the chicane. Aiden's followed his teammate back through.
Brilliant.
Ben Mills has gone for 2 moves into turn 11. The first time, he lost 2 places heading down into the final corner. This time, he's lost 2 places in the middle part of the lap. Ben Mills is not having the best time at all when it comes to making moves heading into turn 11. And Bryn, what an opportunistic move down the inside from him as well. That could have gone so horribly wrong, but ended up working out in his favour.
That was very, very brave from Bryn, and you got to be playing it very, very smart to go for moves like that, and he definitely did it. And I think, apologies for Ben, the commentator's curse, I thought the move was going to go well, but you can see that his tyre management is definitely not going well for him so far. He was pushing on his softs too much when everyone else is just managing it effectively. We saw the 2 AlphaTauris. They were dropping a little bit back on the first 2 laps, whereas Ben, he was just tying it up there, and you just got to play it by ear, really. If you can see that the ones behind are saving a little bit, you probably potentially got to be starting saving too, as Ben is in danger of potentially losing out to George if he's not careful. So if I was Ben, just keep behind Aiden for now, maybe try and get past on the next lap or so, because otherwise it could have ended in tears. No safety cars so far, which is great to see so far. We can see Owen Wyatt going side by side with Lynx, heading towards through turn 12, and now heading towards turn 13 for this right-hander. And Owen, I think, just about was going to get Lynx, but unfortunately couldn't do so as well. Massa and Jensen struggling in the background, but they're in 13th and 14th right now. And now we got the 2 Mercedes fighting near each other. Well, Nick's closing up to his teammate Colin, and we got Larkin closing in on Nick as well. So that could be a good fight. Yellow flag, that's the key to out the race. And could we get our first safety car? No, we're not. Okay, no safety cars. Oh, no! Bryn binned it! Sorry, Bryn has binned it. Heading towards penultimate corner, Max.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking there for Bryn after such a brilliant move. Just a lap ago, he's thrown it all the way. Has he got any wing damage? I don't know. I didn't see if his front wing came off there. Also in the pit lane in this lap, George, Lynx, and also Ben Mills as well. Ben Mills gone for the early undercut. Bryn luckily didn't have any damage there. He's just maybe hurt his ego slightly there. So overall, for Bryn, it's still recoverable, but not the greatest of situations for him. Unfortunate for Lakitu as well. Surprisingly, didn't bring out a safety car on where he crashed as well. So for Lakitu and Lapland, it's 2 very disappointing Miami Grand Prix, and something they would like to forget quite quickly. But when it comes down to Bryn, he now needs to just push this tyre all the way to the limit, of course, but he's now probably going to be a little bit nervous out of that final traction zone and could lose a bit of time there as Nick manages to get past Larkin up into 6th place now. We've got 2 separate trains in this Grand Prix, if you've noticed, Jess. We've got the train behind Nick, and then you've got the train behind Nathan all the way down to Colin. So 2 separate battles in this one for 2 very different ends of the points.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you do finish this race, you do get points, even if you're like 13th or 14th. So for Lynx and Brent, they're going to keep going. But of course, there's certain drivers that are still yet to stop. Mandatory 2-stop race for all the drivers, remember. And if you don't do your 2-stop race, you will get DQ'd, as Larkin does get past Nick once again through the back straight. And he's up into 6th position. We've got more pit stops. Aiden and Nathan Samba come into the pit lane and change from their soft tyres to the medium compound tyres. And Nathan gets ahead, obviously, in the pit lane. So it's Owen Wyatt that leads on track with J. Cole in second. If there is a safety car, that would help them ever so slightly. But look at this. Ben Mills just about gets ahead of Nathan Samba. The undercuts worked perfectly. But don't forget, he's on much warmer tyres compared to Nathan Samba right now. So I would imagine Nathan will try and get him on this back straight. Ben can't afford to make the same mistake as he's done the previous lap. I've just been informed in chat by Danestar that his game was bugged and he was getting FPS drops every corner and a lock-up smoke screen as well. Completely undrivable. If you're on PC, turn particles and smoke particles off. That would save you a lot of time if I were you. As Matta's got past Nathan Samba, so we're starting to see some team play coming into this, which is really great to see.
Yeah, it is. And also, he's now going to be holding up the Ferrari for his teammate in front of him. So that's something to look out for as well. But they've all got to navigate this traffic, really, the drivers that have boxed. As here comes Ben Mills now on Casper. Should be quite a nice and easy move. Matta has actually dropped Nathan Samba quite a way off his teammate, but Ben Mills not actually able to get past Casper just yet. He's going to have to pull out to the inside once more, go late on the brakes. Make sure you don't go into Nick race, go into the back of Nick. He doesn't do so. He's managed to get past Casper, but so has Nathan and Aiden. They've managed to get past Ben's teammate of Matta, as now here comes Ben to the inside of Nick. He'll have the better braking zone. He'll be better on those brakes. He gets the move done, get the good traction. Now you get the good drive into that S section to try and get past Larkin, but will he just wait and see what will happen? Aiden and Casper going side by side there into the left-right, as look who's got past Nick. It is, as actually Larkin's gone wide there. That's invited Ben past, and this is going to hurt Nathan Samba. He's got to sit behind the Alpine. Aiden's got to the inside of Nick. Everyone's just trying to manage their way through the traffic. It shows the difference between the softs, the old medium compound tyres, and the fresh ones, as here comes Nathan versus Larkin. Larkin's going to be able to hang on here heading into turn number 11. But Nathan round the outside, late on the brakes. There's contact made. Larkin sent into a spin. Unfortunate for the Alpine. It was so well defended. And Nathan Samba just about still within DRS on Ben Mills. It's all kicked off here as Nick Racing is now round. And a safety car's been deployed. And I don't really know why it was deployed.
I don't know as well. Might have been Jensen, or I don't know, because I know in P3 tier earlier the safety car was called a very weird point. We were expecting a safety car lap 1, but it was a VSC, and then the safety car got called, I think, for very stupid reasons for 1 point. But the ones on the mediums, they're back in this. Owen White, Jaco, and Colin come in. Maybe the ones, Ben, I think, if you've already pitted, Ben's going to be brave. He's going to do what I did in P3. He's going to go onto the hard tyres. It can work. But towards the end, the drop-off is going to be massive. So, and I think Sam is going to do exactly the same thing. So, technically, that might have helped the ones who just picked, so they could get their 2 stops out of the way. But with the likes of Samba and Aiden, they've stayed out. They're thinking there could be another safety car. And they're going to be leading this train. So, we've got Nathan in P1, Aiden in second. That's helped the Owen massively. Same with the likes. Colin, maybe not so much, but Owen definitely. I think he probably counted his lucky stars that a safety car has come out at just the right time, because probably in about a few laps' time, he was potentially going to pit then anyway.
Yeah, it probably has helped some of these drivers that want to get their 2-stop out the way, as you say, the likes of Ben Mills and also George. But then you've got the likes of the drivers that have just completed their first stop. It does help them in a sense as well, because they would have come out, I would say, a good 5-6 seconds behind the likes of Nathan and Ben, but now they're on the back of them. So we've got these 2 different strategies going on, and overall, it's all going to be about when these 2 merge. But for Ben Mills, when these drivers do box for their next set of tyres,
He's going to be leading.
He'll be leading by over 20 seconds, you would think. So he's going to have a huge margin that these guys are going to have to catch up. And the hards can easily make it to the end from here. So he
I
don't have to
managed
worry about
it.
tyre wear. He don't have to worry about tyre wear. They can push all the way to the end. So for Ben Mills, he's in a very, very good position here. I'm surprised, especially Aiden, who I know, and maybe Nathan as well. I both know I know they're both very experienced league racers. I know Aiden a bit more personally, so I would have expected him to come in. But for Ben Mills, this could be a masterclass on the strategy here.
To be fair, though, there were people that pitted onto softs at the end in my tier. When I did the same strategy, I was leading for like 3 or 4 laps, and then they caught me in the space of like 2 or 3 laps, which was, yeah. So it is an interesting one. Hards can make it, but I think what Ben is going for is consistency. He got his first podium last week. He's looking to go for one place better. If we get another safety car, he'll be potentially screwed at this point. But if we get no safety cars, he's going to try his best to pretty much defend for his life. And I have to say, fair play to him. With George as well, that is going to be interesting. Nick is doing the exact same thing as what we saw J. Cole do. And Larkin, they've all gone for the hard compounded tyres, so they've gone for exactly the same strategy. Interestingly, that Casper's gone onto a set of soft tyres. I believe he started on the medium compounded tyres. So I think for Casper, he's going to try and make his way to try and close it. It only lasts about 3 or 4 laps, like he was saying, but we saw the likes of Ben and Nathan manage to get those 7 laps. If he could take us around about lap 18, 19, and don't forget this is a reduced pace safety car, Casper would be all over this, and he could still have a good chance as well. And he could go on to serve the memes until the end of the race. Don't count out Casper for the win of this race either.
No, Casper could be in a very good position here as well, as you were just saying. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see how all of these strategies just merge together. This is really where now it's all going to be about who can keep their car in the straight line the best, and also who can manage their tyres the best. Of course, you've got George and Ben on those hards. As you said, drivers can come in for the softs later on and then just gain a massive amount lap by lap, but they've still then got to negotiate traffic before that, because you've got J. Cole, Nick and Larkin all also on the hard compounder tyres. So it's just going to be interesting to see. The safety cars in at the end of this lap, so Nathan will lead us away once more. He's now burnt Mylander here in Miami. The first time we've seen the safety car this evening. Will we see another? That is going to be the question. Lap 12 of 29, and we go racing once again here in Miami. And look at that start for Nathan Samba. 6 tenths clear of Aiden. He's caught the AlphaTauri napping. And that is a space of daylight between him and the AlphaTauri behind. But Aiden gained a bit through turn 1, lost a bit through turn 2. And that gap is probably just going to remain around about that half a second mark. No one close enough for a move at any point in this opening lap. But now, for Nathan, Samba and Aiden, it's all about getting those lap times in before the pit stops and seeing how much of a gap you can pull to Ben, so that when you come to that second stint, you don't have to put in as much work.
No. I think he's trying to push now for like a few laps, and then later on he'll do a bit of saving, and then he'll push again. So he'll build up a little bit. And Ben and Colin having a nice battle as well through turn 9 and 10, heading towards turn 11. And he's up into 6th place. So he's doing all he can to close in. If he can match up the pace on the memes this early on, this will be good for Ben. But he can't push too hard too early, because that's when your hard starts to grade at the end. The ones who are in the top 5 at the moment, they're probably going to go to a set of softs at the end, and they're going to try and stretch this out for just a little bit more. For people on the hards, they're going to hope for other people to potentially make mistakes, as we've got a 7/10 gap between Nathan Samba and Aiden. In about lap 15, and that is when the DOS is going to be enabled. By the way, the smoke is absolutely horrific on this game. It's annoying that I can't change it on the PlayStation. Max will not obviously do it on the PC, but obviously he's not the one streaming, as Bryn is starting to struggle a little bit compared to Ben Mills. Don't forget, Ben pitted under safety car. Bryn did not, so I wonder if Ben was maybe saving just a little bit, or maybe Bryn was just pushing a little bit too much. But we'll have to wait and see. Bryn is out of DRS range to the likes of Linked, Owen White, Aiden and Nathan Samba. So the one that the safety car has not benefited, it is Bryn.
Yeah, it's not really benefited Bryn at all because, of course, he made that mistake earlier on in the Grand Prix, and overall, that's just hurt his race from there. He should have really come into the pit lane, I feel like, for an extra stop with this strategy. Maybe do the same as Ben Mills, because I feel like that would have worked a bit better for him as George goes to the inside of Colin, gets the move done there, nicely done by the Ferrari. Ben Mills is now all over the back of Bryn. What is actually the gap between Ben and Nathan? It's 3.6 seconds.
Quite a bit.
So if Nathan just keeps trying to pull out that gap, of course, Ben won't have DRS to Links in front. It will then just constantly keep getting bigger and bigger if him and Aiden keep swapping places with the DRS. So that's what they need to do. They need to try extend that gap as much as possible. For Ben, as he's actually gone into the back of Bryn. Bryn's gone deep due to that. And for Ben, he's all over the back of the AlphaTauri.
He has to box. And he's got damage.
He's picked up damage because of that. And for Ben Mills, who is in the best position possible heading onto lap 15, he's had to come into the pit lane for wing damage after braking too late, going into the back of Bryn. And this race is just falling apart. He's actually coming in not for a front wing, for some medium compounder tyres.
Ben, what have you done?
Strategy.
You've done your 2 stops. What have you done? What have you done? You could get to the end of the Grand Prix with those hards, but maybe he didn't think the hards were going to make it. He probably would have lost some time. But don't forget, the top 5 haven't pitted, so maybe this could work for him. I'm still perplexed as to why he's done it, to be honest, but maybe he's probably learned from what I did in P3 and it didn't work, so that's probably why he's coming to the pits on mediums. But there could have been a safety car. We only had 1 safety car. If there's a safety car now, he's screwed at this point. He's completed his 2 stops. Those hards will get to the end from here, but we're not the ones driving the car. We're in the commentary box for a reason. That's why I'm not racing P1. I'm commentating P1. But maybe he doesn't want to be involved in this traffic otherwise. That he just wants to try and get some clear air potentially. Because let's have a look at these stops. The top 4 haven't made their second stop yet. George has. Bryn, Colin, Casper, Matta and Jensen haven't made their stops yet. Casper hasn't made that much ground at the moment as Colin tries to go up the inside. Late on the brakes goes Colin in towards the final few corners of turn 16 and 17. And he does that very nicely indeed. And he has the confidence to do that. And he's going to try and potentially get a top 5 finisher. He's closing all the way up to the back of George. So I'm a bit surprised that the hards for some people are just not operating in the way that it should do.
Yeah, and I still feel like that is a really odd strategy. Benson again.
Huh?
Unless he did pick up damage and it didn't change it last time around.
Oh, no, yeah, that's probably why.
Oh, he's not.
No.
He's not. He must have kept it on auto. That's race over for Ben. He's probably just going to finish for that point. He's just going to go to the end for that one.
Yes. Honestly, if you're watching this, I think I told this last week as well. Put your repairing damage to yes. Never put it on auto. It screws your race up. As Colin and George having a bit of a ding-dong battle into walls. I can't remember what turn it is. I think it was turn 12. And Colin gets past George up into 5th place. Colin is having a stonker of a race currently so far. And he has said to me earlier on that he was looking good pace-wise. And he is definitely proving it so far as he closes in. As we've got a battle for the lead. As Aiden and Nathan having a ding-dong battle as well. As Owen White tries to follow them through as well. Up the left-hand side. In towards 16 and 17. Can Owen White get up the inside of Samba in towards turn number 1? He's not going to. But it would have been brave if he's done so. But Aiden has taken the lead. Nathan Samba in 2nd and Owen White in 3rd. That does explain why Ben pitted. Because he didn't repair his damage. That's exactly the same to what happened to my teammate earlier. That was cruel.
It really is cruel, and I feel like the commentator's curse come into that one slightly, because I did say before all that safety car come in that he was in the best position to take this Grand Prix victory. And now I feel like it could be George in a very good position here.
Yeah.
He's, of course, the highest runner on those 2 stops. He's about, I think, He's 5.6 off the race lead. I feel like he might drop down a few places. Actually, Nathan Samba has dropped behind Aiden. He now might even drop behind Owen here for third place. Owen's actually had a really good recovery in this one. J. Cole gets passed by, overtakes, sorry, Jensen Butlin there.
I love that name.
Button as a Jensen Button fan was really, really difficult there to suppress. But Aiden, it's going to be now about, again, just him and Nathan just swapping places in this one and just try to extend that gap to the two stoppers. But for George, he's in a good position to maybe even pick up a podium here for Ferrari. So I reckon he'll be very happy with that one. Nathan Samba, got to go for a move, maybe late on the brakes. No, just cannot get it done. Aiden, nicely done. So it's now really going to be, when do these drivers come into the pit lane? Probably, I would say, around about lap 23 is when they will decide to come into the pit lane for a fresh set of those soft compounder tyres, take those to the end, and see how far they can get up. As Jensen Butlin picks up a second time penalty, and Ben Mills is spun on the exit of turn. I think that's 12.
He's got front wing damage, I think.
And that's another front wing gone for him.
That's his race over. I think it's all well and good in you being quick around this chat, but Colin was commentating earlier and said exactly this. It's all well and good in you having pace around here, but if you can't keep in a straight line, if you end up hitting walls all the time, you're not going to have a good race. And that is exactly what Ben has done down in 14th spot. I won't be surprised if he just calls it quits, but Ben, don't give up. You will, if you finish, you'll score points, but Ben could have gone and win this race as well. That is very heartbreaking. As Casper and Bryn going side by side as well into the Vietnamese corner. And Casper gets better traction in the corner. And Casper's up to 7th place. Brilliant move from the Haas driver. And we've seen lots of great battles with Casper over the last few races. He's had a lot of fun as well, and maybe the soft may have not worked for him a little bit, but we got to see him having some good battles like this as Bryn tries to fight him back. He has the DRS as well, and I don't think Casper would have fought any of that as Bryn is up into 7th place. A little bit of lock-up once again between George and Colin, but hopefully no one has seen any of that as we're about to go halfway into this one. Lynx is serving his second stop early, so he's going to go for the undercut. One driver who I've been very impressed with so far tonight is Lynx. He is thrown under the radar in some parts of the race, but his strategy, he's played it very, very well. And he's going to be ahead of some other drivers potentially. So this could work out for him very, very well. So he comes out of the pit lane. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out in 11th spot because everyone else behind has struggled. Fair play to Ben for keeping going, by the way, after doing 5 stops and still win 14th. That's why I'm glad we brought this rule where if you finish, you score points, because if we didn't, he would have retired the car by now.
Yeah, and it also just adds that maybe crucial point for the championship, as Owen has got past Aiden there with the DRS down into turn 11. Nicely done by the McLaren driver. He's really had a revitalised race in this one, a refresh pretty much from that safety car, and he's now up into the race lead after being down in about 6th place, 7th place for most of it. So for Owen, this safety car has helped him out big time. I'm surprised that Bryn and Lynx have come in so early, but it can give him that undercut opportunity, as now here comes Aiden back getting past the McLaren. Could Nathan Samba also follow Owen through? No, he cannot. Sorry, not Aiden through. Past Owen. No, he cannot, as Matter actually gets past Casper there in the Williams, and that's him up into 6th place. But yeah, as you were saying, for Ben Mills, he might now think this could be an important point for the championship come the end of the season, as Nathan Samba's now into the pit lane. What's this going to be on to? Probably a set of the medium compounder tyres, which it is, which I'm also shocked about as well. Those soft tyres can easily go to the end from about lap 23. So we're going to have to wait and see. Of course, these guys have more knowledge than us on how those tyres felt. Give it 4 or 5 laps. So for Nathan Samba, he's come up behind Lynx and just is going to be ahead of Bryn. So for Nathan Samba now, he's got to navigate one car, then put his foot to the floor and push all the way to the end of this Grand Prix and see how well he can do here in Miami. And for Nathan, this is certainly another win on the cards here, going back-to-back maybe. Here in the P1 tier, and the only driver to go back-to-back, of course, is the third race of the season.
Yeah, I think most other tiers this season have had pretty much different winners so far, whereas this could be the only tier where we have back-to-back winners. as Nathan Samba does get past Lynx. I don't think Lynx challenged him there whatsoever, up into 10th spot on the road. Of course, them being in the same esports team, I don't think Lynx would have bothered with Nathan Samba leading. They were on different strategies at the end of the day and in different pace levels too. So Samba, he's got the undercut on quite a lot of drivers. As Owen Wyatt got past Aiden for now, but Owen's got a very poor exit as Aiden goes into the pit lane. And he's going to get his second stop out of the way. That will promote George up into second spot out of this one. And that will only mean that certain drivers will come in. There's more drivers coming in. Colin's in. Casper's in as well. That will jump Nick up a place to P5. Jayco in P4. So that'll be Owen Wyatt. It'll be George and Net race leader at the moment. Then it'll be Jayco, Nick, Larkin, and then Samba. I think Larkin has done his 2 stops now. Let me check. Yes, he has. So the only one still yet to 2 stops is Owen Wyatt and Matter. They're going to drop way down the field.
George is in a very good position right now because even though he's on set lap hold hards, it's going to be an extremely difficult challenge for Nathan Samba to catch that gap to his teammate. So for George, all he has to do now is just keep it on the road, make sure he keeps it clean. We've got what's there 8 laps to go in this one, so he's got to just keep that car on the road. And Nathan has to gain, if I can do my maths correctly, around about 10 seconds. So he's going to need to be like a second a lap quicker here than his teammate constantly, maybe even more, a 10th and a half. So for George, he's in a very, very good position to take a race win here this evening. As you can see on the mini-map, is pretty much the whole of that DRS straight between Nathan and his teammate George. So
it's
a lot of work to do. Aiden's come out behind Lynx as Nick gets past Larkin.
No,
Larkin
other way
gets
around.
past Nick into the final braking zone. Matter and Owen are into the pit lane. Where do they come out compared to everybody else? And now the question is, can Nathan Samba hunt down his teammate George and take this race victory?
That is going to be interesting. We do not have long to go until the end of this one. The reason why Owen and Matter stayed out for as long as they did was they want to go onto some soft tyres and they'll be back in this game if a safety car comes around about now. But I don't think that's going to happen because everyone has just been producing some great quality racing and fair play to all of them so far. Don't forget, if you're liking what you're seeing currently, make sure you leave us a like, hit subscribe and hit that bell if you are new. As Samba, he's going to try and get past Nick and Larkin. Now, Samba's had wars with Nick before in Australia, but is not going to have wars here. He's got past 2 drivers in one corner. Absolutely controlled from Samba. Nicely done. And on the fresher rubber, that definitely helps him a lot. Once your tyres get past 20%, that's where you start to lose a bit of grip. So I think Larkin and Nick's tyres are probably around about the 22% mark, I would say. It's hard to tell because we don't have TADs tonight. But Nathan has already pulled off a masterclass here. Purple in sector 2. He is chasing down the likes of J. Cole and George now. I won't be surprised if Nathan Samba gets this one as well. But I know J. Cole would want to fight for it. I know Samba's a fast driver. J. Cole is not going to let Samba pass that easy, right?
No, surely not. Of course, we saw J. Cole take a race victory out in Qatar last season. And, I mean, his season never really progressed from there. But overall here for J. Cole, he just wants to hang on to this podium for dear life. I mean, it will help out George in the long run. But I feel like also when you're in this position that J. Cole's in, you don't want to lose too much time to the cars behind. So he's now going to be in a state of 2 minds of, does he push for this second place and defend? Or does he let Nathan through and just sit behind that Ferrari? We'll see now with DRS open for Nathan Samba. And look at that, easy as you like. J. Cole didn't fight that one at all. So Nathan gets past. Aiden gets past J. Cole's teammate of Larkin. And here comes Lynx as well, maybe on Aiden going to the inside. No, the Alfa Romeo cannot get close enough for a move on the AlphaTauri in front. Nathan Samba, though, 3.4 seconds behind his teammate. Surely going to get by and try take a double here. So taking 2 wins out the first 3 races. It could have been 3 out of 3 if he didn't come together with Nick in Australia. So for Nathan Samba, it's been a terrific start to the season as it stands.
It definitely has, and I don't think George is going to fight Samba too much. I'm almost certain with the team game. I'm almost certain. So Nathan will probably win this one, as Owen White does get past Nick up into 7th spot. So he's doing a great job on that one as well. Fair play to Jacob for definitely giving Nathan Samba a run for his money there, but he's on for a podium at this rate as well. But you can see how Aiden and Lynx are just chasing him. That was how I felt earlier on. So I feel for Jacob so much here. It's about, I think Aiden and Lynx are a few seconds a lap faster than Jacob. As Larkin is at a spin. Larkin is at a spin in the background. And luckily, so Wyatt's out the race. Safety car. No, what has happened to... he's binned it on the exit of turn 7.
How has he done that? He's surely got tagged.
It was hard to tell because we weren't on board with him, but... Oh my goodness, this has changed the full complexity of this race.
Look who
George
comes back
could
into
win.
it in a sense, though.
George could win this race.
He can, but look who also somewhat comes back into this one for at least maybe a points finish. Ben Mills. Who hasn't actually
He's not
boxed.
a lap down, is he?
No, he's not a lap down.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I was hoping he wasn't a lap down because
I understand why Ben Mills hasn't boxed. He would have gone a lap down if he did.
So he's going to box it. He's going to box next lap. So when he hits lap 24.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. He'll go around and then...
That is so going for Owen Wyatt. I hope he didn't get tagged. George comes in. I think if you're not on softs, go on softs.
Everyone then come into the pit lane except from Colin and Matter. George.
I think I would have came in.
Penalty.
I would have came in because you would have been on a fresher rubber. I think they're going to get absolutely swamped. Colin Mason leads this race.
And also George picked up a 5-second time penalty for that for speeding in the pit lane. That's crucial for who was the race leader before all these pit stops happened.
And look at Jaco. He's got ahead of Aiden and Samba. Jaco's back in this race. Oh my God. Guys, fasten your seatbelts. I don't know who's going to win this one. We got Colin on full lap on softs. I think he should have pitted, to be honest, but surely I think he wants track position, so fair enough. I can understand why he's done it. It's going to be hard, I think, for Nathan to do it. All right, Ben, he's going to come in now. Jensen's on mediums. Why? Jensen, why have you gone on mediums?
This is not a very Jensen Button-esque
No. I think...
McLaren, is it?
Ben he stayed out. Ben, what are you doing?
I think Ben's doing it just to make sure he can catch up to the back of the pack.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. And then he's going to... But the safety car's going to come in next lap. This lap, surely.
I don't know. So...
Oh, I don't know.
But I feel like for Ben, all it is going to be a matter of is just...
Try and get fastest lap. Maybe trying to get a new tyre fastest lap because you get 2 additional points for it.
And also maybe just try and get in front of Jensen as well to be actually in the points. So for Ben, it's all just going to be catching up to the back of the safety car and overall. Because I feel like if he boxed, he wouldn't have actually been able to catch up in time because he's still 23 seconds behind now. Add another 20 seconds to that, that's 43 seconds. So he's just aiming to catch up to the back of the pack, of the field, sorry. And then just go from there. Maybe there could be some carnage, of course, being the final few laps. Everyone will be racing very aggressively. So for Ben Mills, this is now just maybe just keep your nose clean, see where you end up.
Yes, so let's run through your order. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, by the way. Colin's leading this race. He hasn't won in I don't know how long, since he was in podium tier quite a while back. Can he manage to hold the guys behind and win this one? It's going to be a tall ask. But if he can do it, that will be great for him. George in 2nd. J. Cole 3rd. Aiden 4th. Nathan in 5th. Lynx in 6th. Nick's back in this in 7th. Ben has gone into the pit lane, so he's doing what you said. I'm just a bit worried he won't catch up, but one advantage is he won't get involved in the carnage that we're going to potentially see. Ben's going to be on the fresher rubber compared to everybody else, so he's going to come up now. So we've got Bryn in 8th, Matt in 9th, Casper 10th. I think George and Larkin, they're probably the most screwed in this situation because they've got penalties. Everybody else is back in this one. Everyone else is going to be back in this one. Even Ben Mills that will catch up, so I'm going to give you a prediction. I know it's going to be hard, Max, but who do you think is going to win this race?
Oh, now you're asking me a question, Jess. With
You got
everybody
time?
on those soft compounder tyres. You know what? I'm going to go for a bold one here.
What?
He won in Qatar last season.
J. Cole?
Yeah, J. Cole, the Alpine. I feel like he can maybe hang on.
That's not a bad prediction.
Slowing down George. And then pounce on it and then go and win the Grand Prix.
I'm going to go for... I'm still sticking to my guns. I'm going to go for Samba. He has the pace out of everybody so far this race. I think Samba can do it. I really think he can.
Very good shout as well.
But it would be nice to see someone else win. We saw... Who was it? It was Aiden that won race 1. Samba won sprint and feature, but that technically counts as one race. So yeah, he won race 2. I would like to see a different winner win race 3. Just make it 3 wins from 3 races. Ben's in again. Please don't tell me he got damage. Or
I know what they're doing.
Fastest lap?
No.
What?
They're going on to an extra set to be as fresh as possible for this restart. Everyone's going to be around about 6%.
This will be good.
Maybe 10. And they're going to be pretty much on 2 or 3 when this safety car comes in. So they've gone for an extremely fresh set of tyres for them.
Oh, I don't know why I'm so nervous. I really don't. This is the first time this season where we literally don't know who's going to... Well, Australia, we didn't know who was going to win. But come on, we knew it was going to be one of the 2 AlphaTauris. Race 2, Samba dominated. Race 3, I think it could be anyone in this field apart from the ones who win penalties. It could be anyone. It'll be interesting for you in the chat to tell us who you think is going to win this one. And don't forget the tyre drop-off is going to be as quickly as you can. They're only going to have 2 racing laps. No DRS as well. I think if you finish and keep it clean, you'll finish this race.
100%.
And you'll win this. I think you'll get some decent points. So surely safety car's going to come in this lap. I think it'll be around about now. Yes, that was good timing for me. Thank you. So Colin is going to be now the Burt Mylander. Personally, I don't think he's going to win this one. But if he gets a top 5, maybe even a podium, he'll be really happy with that. But there could be some trouble behind. So don't count him out yet. As he exits the final corner. And you can see the train behind. Safety car comes in.
Oh, the limiter's stuck. The limiter's stuck. That's caused a mess. The limiter's stuck for Colin. And it's caused a mess behind him, Jess. Look at J. Cole. He's getting swamped not only by Aiden, but also Nathan as well. To the inside goes the Ferrari. Sorry to cut in on you and everything.
No, it's fine.
There.
And
But
George is trying to get past Colin as
stuck.
well.
George can't get past Colin. That's crucial for him. J. Cole managed to somehow survive the attacks from Nathan and Aiden in all of that. As here comes George to the inside of Colin now. That's a crucial move for him there for the Ferrari driver. And now that just sets the rolling roadblock of Colin in front of J. Cole. J. Cole using all the battery he possibly can to try and get past the Mercedes. But here comes Nathan Samba as well. They're going to be 3 wide once more heading into turn 11. Nathan on the inside. Can he hold on against the Alpine? George might try box.
Oh, Colin!
Sorry, J. Cole in. Colin with a big slide there managed to hold on as Lynx is now going around the outside. Nathan able to get past J. Cole, and that is crucial for him because he can now try and get past his teammate as we're heading through the middle part of the circuit for the penultimate time. Ben Mills still at the back of the order. But for Colin, he tried holding on for as long as possible, and he's now falling down to 7th as there goes Nathan Samba passing his teammate Ferrari, oh, and George did into the back of him. He's had to pull out late of that move. And George manages to just about avoid his teammate as Aiden is now ahead of J. Cole. J. Cole cannot hold on to this podium. The final lap of the race starts now. And look who's up into 5th place now. It's Bryn. Ben Mills sets the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. But Bryn, after spinning earlier before the pit stops and having a torrid time of things earlier on, he's now up into 5th place. This has really worked out good for him in the end. Nathan Sambalo leading this Grand Prix. Aiden would be thinking, what could have been with how this race would have turned out, and unfortunately,
it's not over though.
Will be in his way. It is not over. There's still plenty of time left.
Yep.
Of course, no DRS for these drivers. But I
J.
don't
Cole's
think
lost the DRS. J. Cole's lost DRS. Yep. He is struggling to the likes of Bryn. Bryn's going to try and fight back here as well. And George has got the lead on Samba as well. But I don't think it matters at this point because Samba has no penalties. George does due to him speeding in the pit lane. But that's going to invite the two AlphaTauris. Aiden's in 3rd. J. Cole up the inside of Bryn. Up into the crest. J. Cole was loving life. There's going to be no DRS. So there's a yellow flag, and there's probably people in the back. There's Jensen, unfortunately, has had a bit of a spin. But Aiden could have a chance of winning this race. It could have a triple overtake. This could go horribly wrong if they lose it. And I think Aiden has decided, you know what, I want to back out of this. I don't want to have an incident with those. As Bryn's had a bit of a spin. But let's go on board with your race winner, Samba from Lights to Flag. Wins this race. Lynx in P2. A great drive from him. Don't know where he came from, but J. Cole in 3rd. Fair play to the two Mercedes. Colin managed to get 4th and 5th in the end. But what? I think Aiden got a weird penalty because he's dropping around the order. I think he's glitched there, Aiden. I think Aiden will get reinstated to wherever he was. I don't know where he finished, but you'll get reinstated anyway.
He would have got 2nd in the end. I think he actually did overtake George by the
he did.
Line,
so I think he would have been 2nd.
I mean, Lynx still would have got a podium there. That was really good for the Alfa Romeo, but I want to quickly check. Yeah, apparently Aiden's a lap down.
Okay. Yeah, he'll definitely get reinstated. As long as he reports it to the stewards, he'll definitely get reinstated. Because that's a bit unfair.
So that's unfair there for Aiden from the game, but he will get that position.
So you'll
back,
get 2nd.
Surely.
So yeah.
But it's delight for Nathan Samba. That's back-to-back. He's had such good form. It could have been 3 in a row if it wasn't for that incident with Nick. I know I keep saying it in the past 2 rounds that he could have won in Australia, but he showed the pace. He was quicker than everybody. So for Nathan Samba, this could be a season of domination here from the Ferrari driver, but we're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. But for Nathan, a brilliant result.
Let's run for your order then. We've got Samba from Lynx. No, so it'll be Samba, Aiden, Lynx, J. Cole, Colin in 5th, Nick in 6th, 2 Mercedes boys doing well, Matt doing well in 7th, Bryn in 8th, George 9th, Ben 10th, Larkin 11th, Casper 12th, Jensen 13th, and then it will be the 3 unfortunate retirements, unfortunately, which was a bit of a shame. I was absolutely gutted for the ones who did retire, unfortunately, or in that caused that last safety car. But we got to pick our 2 drivers of the day. I'll let you go first since I went first last week. Max, who would you like to give your driver of the day to, and what would you like to ask him?
Oh, I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for Lynx, actually.
Damn it! I was going to go for him.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Lynx, and I'm going to say... coming into this evening, well, this race, did you think a podium was a real big opportunity, or did you think a good points finish was all you were going to get from that one? Okay. You've
picked my pick, but to be honest, I would have picked him, to be fair, and good question for him. My drive of the day, it is a tough one, but Samba did, as much as I would like to give it to Nick for him finishing in 6th, I think it was, I think Samba just did not put a foot wrong all race. There were times where we thought that he could have lost it, but he just kept his calm, he kept collected. And my question for Samba is, congratulations on yet another win this season. Did you think it was all over in the safety car, and were you expecting to get a win after that? So that was my question for Samba. You can vote for these drivers in a poll that will go out late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But next week, we are going back to Europe. Well, we're going to Europe for the first time this season. We are going to the Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. An absolutely amazing track for racing. Hard for overtaking, though. I'm really excited for this one. Max, what could you expect from Zandvoort next week?
That one's a different challenge. Not like we've seen the past 3 races where it's overtaking opportunities galore. It's really going to be somewhat. I don't want to call it a procession, but it will be. It won't be boring, but there won't be too many moves being made in that Grand Prix. So it's going to be all about how these drivers face that, mainly on the strategy front. How will they do the overcut or the undercut? What tyres do they go on to? And I would say also, just managing your battery is so key around Zandvoort at times, and heading down that main straight is really going to be how it's played. It is the best way to play it out, heading for a move into turn 1. So for the drivers, it's going to be a challenge to keep the car on the circuit. It's such a narrow track, and it's going to be an exciting one to see. So I'm looking forward to it next Sunday.
Yeah, you won't have long to wait. And for Samba, he's looking to get his 3rd win in a row. People like Aiden, what could have been? Mercedes drivers, both Colin and Nick, had a very decent race from their end as well. George did all he can. Shame about that 5-second penalty, because without that 5-second penalty, he would have got a podium. And for Lynx, one of his best results of the season. It is always nice to have an underdog story, so it's great to see that. And we'll see how they can translate next week. But before we go and wrap up the final stream of Miami, I hope you enjoyed all the action today. Let's have a quick word run through of our sponsors. Next Level Racing sponsors the league by providing some prizes each season. Of course, prizes to can be confirmed. They can win potentially one of these prizes. Pure Sim Gear, who sponsors the league by providing one item for free from their store to the person who has the most combined poles and fastest laps. Also to our other sponsor, Azatec, who's providing merch to the winner of 1 Hub Racing Driver Rankings. Our partners, Vespertine, who partner with Vespertine, who supports our official apparel. ERT, who partner the ERT Going Gets Tough Award and lead trophies. The winner of the Going Gets Tough Award gets some ERT merch. And finally, to SimGrid, partners at SimGrid, powered by SimGrid, run our series through our community and platforms. We're going to recover from what has been such a fantastic race. I've been Jess Ball, Max has been Max Ring. Make sure you come and join us next week, same time at 8 o'clock. We'll be on Twitch next week for Zandvoort. You can catch P3 tier at 6 p.m. UK time with Nick and Colin in the commentary box. I'll be racing in that one. P2 tier with Mike and Naomi, and of course, us at 8 p.m. on next Sunday. Have a good evening, everybody. Make sure you follow us on all our socials and all that lot. We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of the evening. But there's one man of the night, and that goes to Nathan Samba. Goodbye.